Remember in my other videos, I said saving too much is not good. When you invest your money, instead of letting it sit in your bank account, aka saving, you prevent it from being attacked by inflation. To me, investing means making your money go to work for you so you don't have to hustle. Personally, I want to be paid for sleeping, but I digress. When I say inflation, I want you to think about it this way. In 2015, you would have been able to buy rice, stew, plantain, salad, and get some cool chilled drink on the side with £10 or whatever currency you want to add to it. Fast forward to now, with that same £10, you can only buy rice and stew and make eye contact with the plantain. That's it. This is because that same pack of food that you bought in 2015 is now worth more. It's worth £15 because of inflation. However, if you had invested that £10 in 2015, it would have grown to £15 or more by now, depending on where you invest that money. So if you leave your cash chilling in a regular bank account, it is slowly losing its purchasing power, like that laptop that has now become plug and play. Investing helps you fight that. Your money can even grow faster than inflation if you consider compound interest. I will explain later. If you are new here, hi, my name is Yvonne, and on this channel, I share my personal experience, career, and personal finance tips to make your life in the UK a bit more easier. So I highly recommend that you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any videos from me. There was actually a time when the mention of investment, stocks, shares, index fund, mutual fund actually made my brain hurt. Then I saw someone online investing and making some cool passive income on the side. And this person works in marketing. So I said, how hard can it really be? I work in accounting. I'm an accountant. So if someone is working in marketing and they're able to understand it, how can't I understand it? So a few YouTube videos and a book or two later, I can confidently say that investments, you don't scare me anymore. So I started my investment journey some few months ago. And like I said, if I can understand it, so can you. Even if you have credit card debt, overdraft, or student loans, you can still invest. You just need to be strategic. I will explain it in a very simple way for you, so don't worry. In my last 3 videos, we spoke about budgeting, increasing your income with 9 to 5, and increasing your income with side hustles. This is a series, and this is episode 4. Let's get to business. Like a magnet, lose won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours. Someone actually asked me that if they put their money in a savings account that gives them 4.5 interest, isn't that basically investment? That's a valid question, and the answer is yes and no. When you put your money in a savings account with 4.5 interest, your money is earning some pocket money, right? But it's not the same as investing into assets like stocks, ETFs, properties, bonds, and I will explain those terms shortly. This is where your money can actually grow and fluctuate. And the goal here is long-term growth. And if you are planning for future big goals like buying a house, retiring early, or even building wealth over 10 to 20 years, savings accounts are for short-term goals like planning a trip to Dubai or even saving for emergencies or rainy days. So a high savings account is not bad at all, especially in this economy. But it's more like your money is jogging. Investing is where your money starts lifting weights and run marathons. We love both though, but just know what job each one is doing for you so you can make them work accordingly. Also, the earlier you start, the better, even if it's just £10 a month. Small drops of water, right? You know the saying. When I started investing, I started with ETFs. Next question. See ya. We have different types of investments, so let me break it down. Let me start with stocks so it flows better. When you hear stocks and shares, think about it this way. You have a company. Yes, you have a company and you want to open more branches, but you don't have the money. And you don't want to go to a bank for a loan. One option is to get money from the public instead. Here, you want the public to have a share in your company. So you, the company, will go to an investment bank and then they will tell you a piece of your company costs, let's say, £100. And you can only divide your company into 1 million pieces. Now, the pieces are called stocks. So you take 1 million pieces to the market. I'm not talking about Abobloshi market. This market is called the stocks market, okay? And it's mostly online. When I see your stock on the market, I might or might not buy. It all depends on the trust that I have in your company and if I think the company will be successful in the future or not. Because at the end of the day, that is what will grow my money. When I buy the stocks that you sold today for £100, in 5 years, that £100 might grow to become £200, which means I've made a profit of £100. That is if I don't sell that stock before the 5-year mark. And if everything goes well, another way I will make money from the stock I bought or the money I invested is through something called dividend. So it simply means at the end of the year, whatever profits the company makes, they will give me some, depending on the number of shares I hold and also depending on the amount that they decide to give to me or to give to their shareholders. So you are known as a shareholder, but it's not every company that gives dividends. So if you have invested in a company that doesn't give dividends, you will only benefit from the stocks appreciating, that is, it's doubling in value. And for some companies, your stock can grow by 10% or by 20% every year. But you have to be careful here. When you invest in individual stocks, you are investing in individual companies. However, if something happens and the company's value reduces, or God forbid, the company collapses, that £100 that you invested will become £20 or even zero, meaning sikanashi, money is gone. Poof. Gone with the wind. So, for example, when Trump came to power, Tesla's stock rose as high as 140 per share, per stock. One stock was 140. Now that Trump is fooling and Elon Musk too is following him, the stock price has plummeted to £96. Meaning, if you bought that stock at £140 and you want to sell it now, imagine if you were holding it as short-term investment and you want to sell it now, you are making a loss of how much? Almost £50, right? So that's how it works. When you invest in individual companies, there is a high probability for you to lose your money. So they will tell you that investing in individual companies comes with high risk, but high risk also comes with high reward. So if you are someone who wants higher reward, then you might want to consider investing in individual companies, but it is not advisable. If you don't want to go that route, then you might want to look at index funds or mutual funds or ETFs. These three have some commonalities and some differences. So let me explain the commonalities first. One common thing about these three is that when you invest in them, you are investing in multiple companies at once, okay? For example, when you invest in the S&P 500, it means that your £100 has been spread across 500 companies in the US, meaning you own small percentages of 500 companies. You be the boss. Boss, okay now. If one company in those 500 lists collapses, you will not lose all your money and it will not affect you that much. Another thing they have in common is that they all hit the like button. So if you're liking this video so far, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any videos from me. I will really appreciate it. The algorithm will also appreciate it and push it to more people to learn how to invest. Now, the differences here are the strategy. Mutual funds is managed or actively managed by a fund manager, which is usually a company. The fund manager usually chooses which stock goes into the fund and they charge higher fees for managing the portfolio. It is usually 1 to 2% per year of what you have invested. What the mutual fund managers are trying to do is they are trying to beat the market. They are trying to give you a higher return of, let's say, 25% or higher, which is not always the case even. Then there is index funds. The only difference here is that it is not being actively managed by a fund manager and the charges on it is very low. It looks to match the returns of the index funds on the markets, which is already trading. If S&P 500 is giving you a return of 20% every year, the index fund manager will also look to give you the same thing. So then there is ETFs. It could constitute of top 500 companies in the US or top 100 companies in the UK. It just looks to track these companies as a portfolio. You don't have to pay anyone to manage it. I hope I am making sense. This is where I usually put my money. Another thing you can invest in is property. I'm not talking about buying a house. People are making bank with investment property. Some people flip houses, right? They will buy a house for, let's say, 200k, renovate it and then sell it for 300k. They've made a profit of 100k. Some will also buy a house for the purposes of renting it out and they will be earning rents. It's a form of income. That is there. But what I'm actually talking about is investing in property without actually buying a house. Because let's be honest, many of us aren't dropping 50k on a house deposit right now. So one of the beginner-friendly ways to invest in property is through through a real estate investment trust. It is just like buying stocks and shares, but this time you are buying it in a company that owns properties. So instead of buying the building, you own a tiny piece of many buildings, like hotels, apartments, shopping centers, and you earn money in the same way as you would if you had a regular stocks and shares. Now, if a company doesn't want to go by the stocks and shares route, and they still don't want to go to a bank for a loan, they will issue bonds. Bonds are less risky, but they grow slowly, so the earnings there are not much. In simple terms, think of bonds as you lending money to a company and then paying you back with interest, right? Like a bank. We have types of bonds. We have government bond and corporate bond. Government bond is also known as gilts, right? And these bonds, they can either be a 5-year bond, a 2-year bond, or more or less. It means they will hold your money for 2 years or more. And after that number of years, they will pay your money back to you. Bonds are great. Like I said, it's risk-free, right? The probability of you losing your money is very low. However, I wouldn't put all my money in bonds. The best way to invest is to mix it up with stocks and savings. You should also consider a stocks and shares ISA, which is tax-free. I will share a detailed video on stocks and shares ISA so that it is very clear. Also, take advantage of compound interest. So if by the end of this month you earn interest, you reinvest that interest and you earn interest on that interest. Makes sense, right? If you are a beginner, bonds and ETFs are a great place to start. Once you are investing and you keep learning and you learn more, you can start investing in individual stocks and create your own portfolio. Where can you start investing? There are so many apps that you can use. Some of them will charge you for creating an ISA account. So you have to make sure you do some research before using any of them. I personally use Trading 212 and they don't charge me anything. It's also very beginner friendly. They are not sponsoring this video, by the way, although I wish they were. Give me my money. There are also other apps like Moneybox, Free Trade. I downloaded Plum recently and I saw that they charge for ISA accounts. So you have to also be aware of that. I will make a detailed video on the apps to use, okay? Don't worry, it's coming soon. Because there are a lot and I'm barely scratching the surface here. So please do like this video and subscribe so you don't miss it. You'll be surprised how investing feels less scary when it's just another app on your phone. If you are in Canada, you can look into apps like Questrade, Mocha, or Qtrade. If you are in the US, well, Robinhood, M1 Finance, there are lots. When you start your investment journey, you would have to avoid lots of mistakes. Someone reached out to me on TikTok and they said, someone reached out to them and said they can help him invest his money and that they can multiply the money if he invests in WW coin. So he invested 15K. 2 months down the line, he says he's trying to withdraw the money, but the money is not withdrawing. It will not withdraw. It can never withdraw. How will it withdraw? Frederick? I'm sorry though, but how will it withdraw? WW coin. You people are not scared. So you have to at least do some research to know where your money is going and what will happen if you lose that money. Trust me, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If someone tells you they can get you 100% interest monthly or even yearly on your money, my darling, run. If you are investing your rent money, we need to talk. Investing is for long term. I personally invest money I know I will not need in the next 5 to 10 years. That is when you will see the real benefits of investment. And if you give it enough time and there is any downturn in the market, you would still have enough time for your money to bounce back. If you are investing for a short term and you are not a stock trader with enough knowledge on investment, heart palpitations. If you go and get greedy and you lose all your money and you come to me, all I can do is cry with you and say sorry. There's nothing else I can do. Personally, I watch a lot of investment content, but I don't just take their word for it. I also do my research before I invest in wherever I want my money to go. Another thing is, please pay off your debt, especially those credit card debts, before you start investing, okay? So you don't ruin your credit score. Sometimes these credit card debts, the interest rate is very high. It's even higher than the investments that you are going to do. So if instead of paying it back, you use that money to go and invest, you are rather losing. So pay the debt first and then you go and invest. Another thing too that you need to consider is that before you start investing, try having a safety net. So look at your expenses, okay? How do you spend on a monthly basis? And then save 3 to 6 months worth of that expenses. So if on a monthly basis you spend £1,000 or whatever, make sure that you have like £6,000 in your savings account before you start investing, so that if anything happens, let's say you lose your job or something happens, you never know, you have a safety net to fall back on. Just keep learning. Little by little, you will understand your money better and maybe even make it work for you. Trust me, it's all about taking it one step at a time. So bestie, protect your coins. Don't go and put it in WW coin though. It's too easy to fall into traps, especially when you are a newbie. If you are not careful, you'll get scammed. So please be careful out there when you start your investment journey. Whether you are here on a student visa, skilled worker visa, or you are just figuring out life in a new country, you can still start investing. Start small, learn, be consistent, and your future self will thank you for it. If you found this helpful, please like, comment your investing fears below, and subscribe for more immigrant-friendly financial and career content. I'll see you in my other videos. You still won't subscribe? Hey.